Hi there, Chris here with another quick tip for you all. In this video we're going to continue our look at painting designs on Harlequins. And so as you can see here we have our Harlequin all ready to go. He's already been painted in this blue and purple type scheme, and so we're going to go with something a little bit brighter, consistent with the way I've been painting on my Harlequins in a primary color scheme. And so for that I'm going to get started with some Averland Sunset. And basically within this video we are going to draw in basically vertical stripes. Something kind of clownish and, you know, kind of Harlequin like. We had shown the checkers in the previous videos, and so this is a different way of creating really bright, kind of loud kind of color schemes for the Harlequins. Averland Sunset's a really great color. It's a base tone and it sits on top of other colors really well. But it doesn't need to worry so much about that on this model, as there's quite a bit of brighter tones left on those little leggings. And as you can see here, I'm using our artificial brush. I've thinned down the Averland Sunset just a little bit. And I'm basically starting by using that peak in the boot as my reference. And I'm drawing a straight line straight down to the middle of the foot. Kind of like where the middle toe would be, sort of like. And again, when we are drawing straight lines on the model, key factor is to maintain your brush to try and remain perpendicular to the surface of the model, and try to maintain a consistent pressure as you work your way around. Now you can see here, kind of get a little bit in the way. Kind of gets a bit of a pain on some of the back details. So I really don't worry about too much on areas where, you know, it's kind of hard to see, and I changed some of the angles there where I was, you know, doing like the back of the calf, and don't really quite see how it occurs. But again, it's, you know, it just takes a little bit of finagling to, you know, try and work your way into those areas. And basically the brush, I try and maintain the brush so that it's just the point of the brush, and, you know, to lay out the foundations. So next I come in with some Caledor Sky. And this is a nice bright blue, and basically drawing it right in between the yellow lines. And again, it's the same thing with the yellow, maintaining a perpendicular position to the model itself. A little bit of medium helps with the flow. Of course, you know, when you're drawing and you're using the fine tip of the brush, you know, you just try to maintain a nice balanced feeling towards the model. And again, it's as easy as just simply just drawing it right in there. Again, with the blue, I kind of thicken up the lines for the blue, and so we will have to come back with the yellow later on and clean that up as well. As you can see there on the shin of the one point there, the blue kind of almost touches in the middle there, so we'll have to fix that up later on. Next, we're going to come in with some Averland Sunset, and we're going to do the other legging as well. We're using a little bit of medium here. And this is another way of how you can achieve the lines on the leggings. Now, of course, this works for the sleeves as well. Basically, anywhere on the model that you want to draw these vertical kind of lines. Again, these are really kind of old school kind of motifs on the Harlequins, as they're often very depicted as very loud, and you know, the colors, the color schemes, stripes, checkers, you know, diamonds, and all sorts of things. They're just, you know, really noisy looking patterns, and no rhyme or reason, just really bright colors. Here again, you can see I'm coming in again with the Averland Sunset. I'm going to thicken up that line through the center of the shin, fix that all up, make them all look nice and even. And again, when you are working on those areas, it's best to kind of turn the model so that you're facing that view, so that you can see how thick or thin you are going. It is a little bit tricky, and so that's one way of doing it, where you draw in basically the lines separately like this, and on the other leg you can see we filled in the entire leg, and so we're going to do the something a little different there. And doing the lines separately like this, it is a little bit time efficient, I believe, to do it sort of like this. But again, you do have to go back and forth a couple times to make sure all the lines get nice and even. And you can see after a while, you know, again, the lines look, you know, pretty even. Whereas when you're coming in with this way, when you fill in the entire leg, you know, you are laying in more paint onto the surface before coming in to draw in your stripes. And so once the leg has been fully base coated, and it was only about 2 or 3 layers applied there, When I come in again, we're going to use that little peak on the boot to become our reference point. And again, we're just going to start with drawing a straight line right down through the knee, and then from the knee right down to the middle of the foot. Again, you can see how my brush is trying to maintain a very perpendicular position to the model, and you can see it's just the very tip of the brush I'm using to achieve this line. And again, you can see it's just being very, very cautious, very, very consistent. It takes a bit of practice. You know, you do have to go into steady hand mode for this kind of stuff. But once you start mastering drawing in straight lines, then again, you know, doing the checkers is no problem. Doing any other kind of straight lines on a model. When doing straight lines on a model where the model bends like this, oftentimes, really realistically, the lines get thinner in towards the bend, and so that's one thing I didn't quite account for on this one here. It wasn't too bad here because it was on the outside of the knee, but there, if you were going right through that bend, you know, you would have just a almost like a little triangular type shape in that area. And so here, when we get to the outside knee, I thin the line up a little bit as we work our way through, because realistically that line would get bunched up as the fabric would bend and everything like that, and so the line would become a little bit thinner up by that knee joint. Again, you can see it's really just maintaining a very light hand as you work your way through, maintaining a perpendicular position to the model as you work your way through, and again, it's, you know, no problem. Really, the trick is making sure that your paint stays nice and thin, not too thin that it's running all over the place, but that you know, it flows from your brush easily. And again, you can see how the two, you know, are, you know, they look pretty much the same. It's two different techniques to try and get to the same, you know, result, which is oftentimes many things in painting that are like that. Yriel Yellow here is just simply going to be my highlight color, and I'm just going to catch the edge of the boot as well as the top of the kneecap and the bottom of the foot. And so I'm just simply drawing in the highlights into these points. The calves, I'm just going to catch a bit of the calf, and then where the boot meets the rest of the leg. And that's really just a couple points on the highlights for the yellow. It's really not a whole lot of that. It's just, again, just to brighten it up, bring some definition to there. And for the bent leg, again, you can see I put a little bit more yellow into those areas, and again for closest to the boot, and then again, see, catch a little bit of the calf, and then a little bit more down by the foot, catch that ankle bone and the tip of the toe. And again, this is not a very realistic highlighting scheme. This is more of a stylized highlighting scheme for these models. I find that with these Harlequins, I find that the brighter colors work a lot better than the really kind of subdued colors that often you see on the box art and everything like that. This way is more of an old school way of painting them. Teclis Blue is next, and obviously this is going to be our highlight for the blues. And again, it's the same thing. I'm just going to highlight that little point where the boot meets the leg, the kneecap, and the ends of the foot. And of course, maybe if it runs down the shin, I might do a little highlight down the shin as well. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. You can see the ankle bone will also catch a little highlight as well. And again, you can see like in the back of the leg, that kind of gets a little bit muddled up. You can always fix that up later on, or, you know, trust that, you know, your viewers aren't going to be too observant and, you know, make fun of you for it. But again, you see it's just pretty straightforward, just putting those highlights in, and I'm not too worried about the details that you can't quite see. They are quite fiddly to get to, and the bottom of the soles, I think I left them blue as well. Could have also left them as black, but that is it. It's as easy as that. Do not be afraid to give it a try. We've got even more painting tutorials in the Silver MiniWarGaming Vault. You can watch another one today about how I freehand the rose pattern on this other Harlequin. Just click the link in the video description below and watch it right now. If you don't have a MiniWarGaming Vault membership, you can click the link and sign up for a free 7-day trial. Make sure that you get the silver membership so you can access the painting tutorials, and you'll get instant access to over 1,000 painting tutorials already in the vault. And so thank you for watching. Happy wargaming.